the last episode, I was blown away by the karst topography of Guilin, hung out with some girls from the Yao ethnic minority, and climbed up a dragon spine at the Longji Rice Terrace. I'm about to continue my tour of Guilin County by checking out Yangshuo, a place that's often called China's most international town. So there are various ways of getting to Yangshuo from Guilin, but if you really want to see what Guilin's about, you should take the ferry because you'll be able to see the Lijiang River and the mountains, and it doesn't take much longer than it would by car. It's a 4.5-hour journey, which sounds a little long, but you know, it's a good time to catch up on some reading or get a tan. There are many ways of getting from Guilin to Yangshuo: by taxi, private car, bus, traditional bamboo raft, and the most popular and recommended option, ferry, which runs several times a day depending on the season from Zhujiang Wharf, a 40-minute drive from Guilin City. It's a little more expensive than going by road, but let's not be penny-wise pound-foolish here. The journey by ferry will give you a far more spectacular view for just a fraction more in price. Also, traveling by river is easily the more comfortable option. I highly recommend going by water because you'll pass one of the most amazing karst landscapes in the world. It's so beautiful, in fact, that when former U.S. President Nixon came here, he said that while he had visited more than 80 countries and more than 100 cities, nowhere could surpass the beauty of Guilin. I've heard two Chinese sayings about Guilin. The first is that there is no finer scenery than Guilin's Under the Heaven. And the second, of all the places in Guilin, Yangshuo is by far the best. So I'm excited about seeing just how amazing the landscape is there. Yeah, which part of the state are you guys from?
From Seattle.
Oh, cool. So what made you decide to come to Guilin?
I had been here before and I loved it.
Yeah?
About 10 years ago.
Right.
And wanted my husband to come back and to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm retired, so I can take advantage of all these things I didn't have time to do before.
That's wonderful. What do you think of it so far?
It's beautiful.
Yeah?
It's very, very lovely.
Why did you decide to come back, though? I mean, what exactly drew you back? You know, was there anything in particular, or...
I love the Chinese people and the culture and the beautiful things that you create.
I was already gobsmacked by Guilin and Longji, and if Yangshuo scenery was the best, let's just say my expectations were pretty high. Cruising along the Lijiang River through one of China's most famous scenic areas, I think back to the description I'd heard of the 83-kilometer waterway from Guilin to Yangshuo, looking like an artist's masterpiece. The beauty of the rolling hills that sandwich the Lijiang River is surreal. The Lijiang River winds for 300 kilometers through the Chinese countryside, past numerous cities including Changde, Zhuzuo, Lixian, Jinxi, Jiangzhejia, and Shimen. But I hear this section is by far the most beautiful, especially the area between Yangdi and Xingping. So make sure you stay awake during your cruise. 4.5 hours sounds like a lot of time, but when you're distracted by the gorgeous scenery, time seems to fly past. From here, we can already see Yangshuo. I was told that the best way to experience Yangshuo is to rent yourself a bike and see where it takes you. How much is this?
It's 20 yuan.
Okay, and that one?
It's 10 yuan.
All right, I'll take that one then. Thank you. Okay. I'll try it down there. While there are numerous tourist spots in Yangshuo, not all of them are always at the top of the must-see and do list for tourists when they come. Most tourists are happy to rent a bike and ride through the beautiful limestone karst countryside, discovering their own sights and creating their own adventures. You'll find bicycle rental booths throughout town. There are even bicycles made for two. One place you might want to ride to is the Yulong River, about 15 kilometers away from Yangshuo. It's a minor tributary of the Lijiang, known to many as the Mini Lijiang. It's smaller and quieter than the Lijiang, the scenery is more concentrated and refined, and the waters are far cleaner. It's also safer to swim here than in the Lijiang because it's only about 5 meters deep and the currents are gentler. You'll be happy to find that there are no motorized boats on the Yilong either. Instead, you can take one of the bamboo rafts that have long been used for daily transportation purposes, but now double as tourist boats, which take you past the small villages along the way. There's a saying in Chinese, one travels to mountains and one plays in water, meaning that when you go to a mountain, it's for the scenery, but when you travel anywhere where there's water, it's a signal for you to play. Aside from the natural scenery, keep your eyes peeled for the local fishermen who you'll see fishing from their traditional bamboo rafts with the help of their trained cormorant bird friends. Anyway, how could I not heed such good advice? With the sun shining overhead, the water of the Mini Lijiang looks so enticing, and the locals have told me not to be polite with the water gun. Just aim and shoot on sight.
This is not an unfair fight. Have a water fight. Everyone else has raincoats, but look at us. I'm dressed entirely. So the guys are right. It's pretty fun. If you go on one of these rafts at the Lijiang River, pick up a water gun and just start a war.
Around Yangshuo, you'll find many small villages that you can explore at your own pace. I head to Fuli Village, which is known for specializing in the art of traditional paper fan making. Most of the villages here are in the business of making these fans, which features paintings of Guilin scenery. The village street is lined with shops producing and selling them, so take a look around and see if you can find one that grabs your fancy. Or you can take a class and learn how to make one for yourself.
Thank you, river.
That's easy.
Nice to try the man your fan. Bye-bye. 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 Yeah, beautiful.
桂林岩就画桂林山水。
但是不一定每个人会画这么漂亮的。
就是以前写生的时候啊，把桂林的山刷出来就走偏了，所以就是那个都是印在这个脑子里面，想怎么画就怎么画。国画都是一种写意啊，大写意，一件刀就行了。
你画了很多年是吗？
几十年。好，画完了，这就是我们的桂林山水。
It's amazing. It's taken Mr. Zhao less than 10 minutes to draw this, but come on, he also has over 30 years of experience in painting Guilin's landscape and scenery. So he's also even included the, if you can see here, the camel-shaped mountain that I saw earlier. About 15 kilometers from Yangshuo, you'll find the Shiwai Taoyuan Park, where there are peach trees lining the riverbank and paddy fields and small villages dotting the area. It's a good place to witness the culture and traditional handicrafts of the ethnic minorities that live in Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, namely the Zhuang, Yao, Miao, and Dong. And as with many places in Yangshuo, you'll still get a sense of contentment just by walking around, enjoying the surroundings, and even if you miss the exhibitions, shows, and stalls selling the ethnic handicrafts, you won't leave feeling disappointed. Mind you though, if you do happen to chance upon groups sharing their traditional songs, make sure you stop for a while and take a listen. Everyone, I guess, secretly dreams of an escape from the complexities of the world. A utopia of sorts. Traveling through this area, I'm reminded of the poem Shiwai Taoyuan by Tao Yuanming, a poet who lived over 1,500 years ago. The poem tells the story of a fisherman who accidentally steers his boat into a cave. After traveling for some time, he reaches an opening in the cave and discovers a village in a valley where the people are dressed in a style from several centuries before. Putting two and two together, he realized they are the descendants of war refugees from the Qin dynasty and have been living here undisturbed for several generations. The people in this isolated paradise know nothing of the outside world. They are content and living in harmony in a society devoid of greed, exploitation, and oppression. Eventually, though, the fisherman leaves to tell others of what he's seen, but when he tries to return, he's never able to find the cave again. Guilin, including Yangshuo, is one of the most famous areas of karst topography in the world, characterized by the caverns and sinkholes formed by the dissolution of the Devonian limestone hills here. The dramatic karst terrain covers over 5,000 square kilometers, and while the locals take it for granted, it's a major reason why tourists from all over the world flock to Guilin and Yangshuo. The karst landscapes in Guilin and Yangshuo are unique because of the sheer scale of the terrain, which is unrivaled anywhere else in the world. Now, I hear that you can go caving among some of the limestone hills here, so I head over to the Silver Cave, located some 20 kilometers from Yangshuo. Silver Cave is a famous multi-story karst cave that runs through 12 karst formations, though only about 2 kilometers of it is open to tourists. If you take the tour, you'll walk through the lower cave, the grand halls, and the upper cave, where you'll see a collection of brightly lit stalactites, stalagmites, stone pillars, and curtains of rock formations that have taken centuries to form. While I found the colored lighting distracting, it did help to emphasize the names these formations have been given, such as Deep Moon Palace and Heavenly Screen of Music. Yangshuo is a really small place, so you won't find any public buses the way you know them. Instead, they have these shuttles that take you around the town, and for tourists, it's a really cheap way to tour the town. There are 5 lines on the shuttle network, which will take you to most parts of town for 1 RMB per ride. For those of you who want to navigate around without a map or with just a rough idea, Yangshuo town is laid out in a grid ladder-like form, with two main streets running almost parallel, divided by a small creek and with a series of small streets connecting them. Over the years, what used to be the quiet town of Yangshuo that was known mostly to backpackers has turned into a vibrant and busy town that's popular among tourists. While most of the older local residents have moved out of the town center, you'll still find a traditional Chinese way of life in the quieter streets and lanes off West Street. Walking along, I bumped into a group playing with Chinese traditional cards that resembled dominoes on a side street, right next to a street barber who tells me he was once an opera singer but has been cutting hair for the past 2 decades. Apparently, he's a little bit of a celebrity around town, and many tourists have paid him a visit, waiting to sit on his antique barber chair for a trim. He wears a pair of platform shoes when he works on his taller customers, a remnant from his opera days. The customer in the chair tells me he's been coming here every 3 weeks since he was a young man, and despite the changes in town, he'll continue to get his hair cut here in the years to come. The locals you encounter during the day seem to disappear at night as West Street is transformed into a totally different place for the night owls that come out to play. It's hectic, crowded, and loud, perfect for a night out. The bars and restaurants are packed out with tourists and foreign residents from all over the world who've set up home here. The older and more famous of the two main streets is Xijie, or West Street, considered to be the center of the city, the place where everything happens. Here you'll find small boutiques, street vendors, banks, restaurants, hostels, bars, internet cafes, and everything that you could possibly need to make your life easier. It's also where you'll find some of the best international cuisine in China, as many foreigners have set up home here running their own restaurants, cafes, and bars. I head over to Monkey Jane's, a favorite backpackers hostel and bar recommended by friends who've been to Yangshuo.
Oh, thanks. Nice. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah. So, how long have you guys been here?
In China now, 3.5 months back in China. I was in Sanyao before.
Yeah.
But it's better here.
And me, I've been in China 6-7 weeks. And here, 1 month.
Right. So how'd you hear about Yangshuo?
Lonely Planet, I guess.
Ooh, that's how I heard about it.
5 years ago I started off with Shaolin.
Right.
And then a guy who went to Shaolin told me about this place and I was just going to travel through. 8 months later I was still here.
I think I like the fact that it's small. Like, you can easily get around. You tend to know everyone, which it's not always a good thing. But,
yeah.
It's easily,
It's just cheap, it's beautiful, the weather's great.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to come in. There's not many other places with the same chilled out atmosphere and stuff.
And I think you can just relax in the day, and you don't have to spend lots of money. You can just go to the river, swim.
Yeah. Your favorite city in China? Have you been to many?
Does Yangshuo count as a city?
Yeah, it does. It does.
If it counts as a city, then Yangshuo.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Yangshuo's cool. Sanyao's pretty good, that's growing, but right now Yangshuo.
Yeah.
We kind of stay just here quite a lot.
Yeah.
And in the daytime go swimming and climbing.
So you do recommend the climbing then?
Very much so.
Yeah?
It's fantastic.
We found climbing on the river, so you don't need ropes and stuff.
Okay.
So climb and just jump off.
It's like soloing. It's very good.
There are a lot of mountains in Guilin, and if you come to Yangshuo, you can climb one of the 40 mountain faces that have been delegated for rock climbing. And a lot of professionals nationally and from overseas come here just to climb the flat faces of these mountains. I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. It's my first time, but, they have really great instructors here. So it's all good. It's all good. I can do this.
The boys at Monkey Jane's were right. One of the must-do activities here is rock climbing. How can you possibly say no to these beautiful limestone rock faces? For years, even before the town was open to tourists, avid climbers had been coming to Yangshuo to scale these limestone hills. It was the reason that drew foreigners here in the first place, and you'll find the climbing scene alive and well in town, with many shops offering day climbs, partners, and equipment rentals. There are 300 climbing routes of varying difficulty in Yangshuo. If you need more detail, get a copy of the Yangshuo Climbing Guide, available at most climbing shops in town.
Okay, first of all, we got a helmet. Okay. The second one we have to wear is the harness. So this harness is very simple. You got one waist bill. Just let me show you. Does that work? So you're holding like this.
All right.
That's the waist bill. You down here, you got 2 leg loops.
Okay. Side in.
Yep.
Side. There.
So then, so the first thing is you have to tie the waist bill first.
Okay.
And you type it like this thing. All right, come on.
Cool. Ready.
All right, now you have your shoes on.
Yeah.
Your harness. Tie it up.
Yeah, it looks pretty secure.
When it's tight,
Yeah.
like when it's tight like this,
Yeah.
so it's very hard to come back.
Okay.
When the first people first climbing, they always, when they look at a video or movie or something, they always doing like chin up, like muscles.
Yeah.
But they could be powerful, but it's not the real way. So the way is you always keep your weight on your feet. All right, friend. F is friend.
Okay.
So friends ready?
We're friends, right?
We are friends.
Just checking
We're
that.
Friend. Yeah,
okay.
shake hands.
We'll shake on it. You keep me safe.
Yeah, always. All right, G is go.
Okay.
Go means you're ready.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I am.
All right.
Okay, I'm ready to go up. I'm gonna climb this thing and climb it well. Watch.
All right. Enjoyed it? Don't hold your rope.
Don't hold on to the rope.
Yeah.
Gotta remember that. Okay.
Okay.
So here.
Yep. Here. Use your tone all the time.
Okay.
Checking around somewhere.
Woo.
How do you feel?
I feel good, but
Yeah?
this isn't easy.
All right. Keep your hands in the crack.
Okay.
Try to move yourself around a bit. The hands go straight up. Your right hand hold it like that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Come on, you can do it.
This is definitely a lot harder. Wow, this is crazy hard. Not too bad for a beginner though, huh? Okay. Yeah. It is. It is a challenge. Gotta love challenges.
Doing good.
Many of the rock climbing instructors are able to speak Chinese and English, but I'm partial to Jack's style.
Yep.
So look for him when you come. Guilin is one of the more popular travel destinations in China, and I hope from this trip you've been able to see exactly why. Aside from the amazing scenery, you know, it's been a ton of fun and there's so much to do here. And to top off what has already been a fantastic trip, I'll be taking in Zhang Yimou's Liu Sanjie performance, set against the backdrop of what Guilin is renowned for, limestone rock hills. Thanks for watching Travelogue. I'm Michelle Lin. I'll see you next time, but in the meantime, keep those bags packed.